Let's talk about customizing your creative by placement. This can be really important so that your ad looks appropriate depending on where it's being shown. So, the first thing is once you upload your image or your video, you're going to be taken through this process. Meta groups placements by similar aspect ratios for what they recommend. So, you've got a square, a tall, and a wide aspect ratio for each group. So the first thing you should do is select or crop or replace these images or videos that you're using to satisfy each of these recommendations. Once you've done that, click Next. Next, you'll be prompted to select whether or not you're going to use the Advantage Plus creative optimizations. That's for a whole other video. We won't worry about that right now. All right, so make sure that you've entered in all of your primary text, even if you've added primary text options, as well as headlines, descriptions if you use them, calls to action, and website destination. On the right-hand side, you're going to have a brief preview regarding how all this is going to look. Let's go ahead and click on the advanced preview. And here, as you see, we've got 21 different placements. We're going to see all of those various previews to make sure everything looks okay. You can scroll through. I could tell you this one right here, this is an image that was converted into a video. So if you were to play that, you'll see it actually zooms back out. So it might not be bad after all. So we go through all of them. The other thing is on the right-hand side, if you've created text variations, you can select the options just for that variation that you provided. Same thing for headline, or you can just go at the top and view them all. So if anything jumps out at you here, that could be a red flag that, hey, we need to go in and edit. So various things you should think about here, not only to make sure that the cropping is right, that it looks the way you expect it to look, but the primary text. You might want to use different primary text depending on the placement because it might cut off at different parts, right? So example here, on Instagram profile feed, cuts off pretty quick, cuts off sooner than it does here, right? So now we go back, and the first thing you can do, go to the Add Creative section, and again, we're broken up into 3 different groups. If you want, you can hover over a group to edit it, to edit everything that goes into that placement or that placement group. And you'll see at the very top, it's editing 12 different placements. You can choose to turn into a video, which is what happened with that one image that we saw that looked like it was kind of crap funny. They turned it into a video. So you could do that if you wanted. You can change the image. You could crop the image. You could change the primary text options just for these placements. Again, it's going to cover all 12 of these that were selected. You can change the headline options for these 3. And also keep in mind, as it says here, the text options won't show for all these placements. That'll just be for Facebook feed and Instagram feed when you use the multiple text options. And you can actually change the destination, website URL, and display URL. And if it's applicable, you can also add product tags for anything that's, I guess, a product here from your catalog. Now, if you're using a video, you actually have some additional options here. So the first would be your thumbnail. Now, Meta's going to automatically select a thumbnail for you, but you can choose to manually select one if you choose. Otherwise, you still got the same text options. Captions, if you haven't already added captions to your video, you can generate them automatically or upload your own. You got the product tags option again. The poll is kind of a cool thing that you can add to your video. Ask a poll question, provide some options, and then have some choice URLs there as well. So just to provide just some interaction here that you might get out of a video that you may not even know that this existed, right? You can add text overlays, and not only can you determine what that overlay is, you can choose the font, various styles, the size, the colors, and done. Choose where exactly in the video that's going to occur, and you can add multiple text overlays. You can also add logos, but now we've got an overlay with the logo that, again, we determine kind of where it is, when it's going to happen, and you can apply that too. Now, if there's a specific placement that you want to edit and not an entire placement group, you can do that too. So recall, initially it looked like maybe that in-stream video placement was a little wonky. I explained it's probably just fine. But if you wanted to edit just that placement, you'd expand this, hover over it, click edit. And then you'll see at the very top, we are editing one placement, and then we can make all the same changes here as well. But like I said, if you click play, it shows you exactly what's happening there. So it should be okay as long as it auto plays. So that's a quick rundown of customizing your creative by placement. I feel like this is something that's often neglected. There are a lot of automations and optimizations that Meta does for you, but you can't always trust them entirely, right? You want to make sure that your most important message is up front and forward, and everything's cropped appropriately, appears the way that you want it, text in the right places. So I just encourage you to go through this process when you can. Look, it's not going to be the end of the world if you forget, if you don't have time, but especially for a campaign that's important, it's going to be running for a while, go through these steps just to make sure everything's looking the way that you want it. All right. So I also wrote an entire blog post on this. You can check that out at jonloomer.com/placements. Thanks for joining me again today. Until next time, do awesome things. I'm out.